Seabirds exhibit. My name is Alexa. Yes, it's like Amazon Alexa, but clearly I am the cooler version. For those of you who are wondering where the voice is coming from, I'm over here. Hello. In just a few moments, one of our animal care staff, Susan, is going to be getting into this exhibit. But before she does, I just want to take an opportunity. Let's go ahead and have those of us who are a little bit shorter take a step closer to the window, and those of us who are a little bit taller take a step back. That way everyone gets a chance to see these awesome birds, and you guys get a chance to interact with them as well. I'm going to scoot over to the left, so if anyone has any questions, I'll be over here. Awesome, so right now our animal care staff, Susan, is getting into this exhibit. We're going to be doing a feeding with some of the birds in this exhibit, but before she starts, I want to take a couple minutes and introduce some of our feathered friends in here. Right off the bat, those black and white birds with the really long black beak up on the left-hand side, those are going to be our common murres. Now, who walked over here and saw the common murres and thought penguins? A couple hands. No worries, that is a very common misconception. These birds will all be found in the northern hemisphere, while penguins are going to be found in the southern hemisphere. Additionally, penguins cannot fly, while these guys can. Also up on the back are going to be our two black oystercatchers. Those are those black birds with the really long, thin orange beaks. Who wants to take a wild guess as to what black oystercatchers do not actually eat? Oysters. That is correct. You guys are awesome. So black oystercatchers do not actually eat oysters. It was a misnomer. They look very similar to some oystercatchers that you would have found over in England. But in fact, they will eat stuff like mussels and limpets and other things that you can find in the crevices off of our back deck and in tide pools. Some of the other birds in this exhibit are going to be our tufted puffins. Those are going to be very obvious and really easy to find. They are those black birds with the really long blonde eyebrow feathers. Gentlemen, take notice, this is a great way to attract a mate. Grow out your eyebrows and dye blonde. This is going to be their breeding plumage. In fact, all of the birds in this exhibit are currently changing into their breeding plumage, and that is the feather coloring and feather patterns during that breeding season. During the non-breeding season, they will be completely black, so it's a little bit different coloring. They also have the nickname on the East Coast as clownbirds. So if their nickname is the clownbirds, what do you think a group of puffins might be called? Where do you find clowns? A circus. So a group of puffins is also called a circus. Fun fact. A group of common murres is going to be called a fragrance. Use your imagination to figure out why they call it that. Last but not least, we have two pigeon guillemots in this exhibit. They are all the way on the far left-hand side. One of them is in a mottled black and white plumage, so she has not completely changed into her breeding plumage. The other one is going to be black with two white spots on the back. You'll notice they are different from the common murres because they have bright orange feet. Now, Susan has started what is called a broadcast feeding in this exhibit. So a broadcast feeding is basically how you would feed your fish tank at home. Take a handful of food, throw it in the water, and whoever is hungry is more than welcome to come up and take a bite. This is also a great chance for us to see how these birds hunt in the wild. These birds in the water are seabirds, so they will spend 60 to 80% of their time out in that open ocean hunting and swimming for food. And you can see that they are very, very good at it. Not only can they fly in the air, but they are also able to look like they are flying in the water. And they have a couple different adaptations that allow them to do that. If you take a look at these birds, you'll notice that their feet and their legs are located further back on their body. If you take a look at the black oystercatchers up on land, you'll notice that their feet are located a little bit more to the front. Having the feet further back allows it to work similar to that of a propeller on a boat, so it really pushes them really far down into the water. Our common murres in this exhibit are going to be the diving champions. They can dive up to 500 feet on one dive. That's very impressive, especially for me, because I can only go about 5 feet. There have also been accounts of them being able to dive even deeper than that. Our tufted puffins also have a great adaptation. They are able to hold up to 10 or 12 fish in their mouth at once. If you take a look at the plaques above your head, you can kind of see what an example of that looks like. Looks a little bit like a fish mustache. How they're able to do that, their tongue is rough, similar to that of a cat's. If they then use that tongue to hold the fish up on the roof of their mouth and use the bottom half of their beaks to continuously catch more fish. This is great, especially if you have chicks back at home in the nest. You want to catch as many fish as possible to keep those babies well fed. All of these birds you can find here in Monterey at different times of the year. Our oyster catchers you can actually find off of our back deck almost any time. You'll actually hear them before you will see them. They will usually be found in a mated pair, and they'll be hanging out on those rocks, catching stuff like lipids and mussels, using that long beak to catch those mussels before they close, and use that to pull out the meat from the inside and then eat it.
What did it do?
They're doing their acrobatics just like in the circus.
From up there.
Oh, darn it, I missed it.
Now our black oyster catchers are actually doing a training today. They're doing a scale training. So Susan, as you can see, she is offering the birds some muscle. The birds are then encouraged to come up that ramp onto the scale, and then they get a piece of muscle for their efforts. This is great. This type of training is called positive reinforcement. Basically what it is if an animal does a behavior that we want them to, they get a reward for that. This is great because then if we do need them to do something, like if we need to take them to the vet, or we need to have them crawl into a crate, or if we need to check their weight, for example, on the scale, it's not stressful and it's very easy because they already know how to do that behavior. And you'll notice that we do that for a lot of the other animals here at the aquarium as well, including some of the larger fish, like the giant sea bass, some of the sharks, and also with our sea otters as well. Now some of the other birds I mentioned you can also see here in the Monterey Bay. If you go out on one of the whale watching boats here in the bay, you might get a chance to see some of our common murres or puffins a little bit further out from shore. They won't be spending a lot of time on land like I mentioned before, so you won't see them really close to shore, but you will be able to see them here in the bay a little bit further away. Our pigeon guillemons we will start to see actually nesting underneath the back deck of the aquarium. Those are very fun to see. You'll notice them because you'll hear them before you see them. They come in flying. They have a bright red beak, bright red feet with those white spots on their back with the black body, and they are really fun to see here during the summer. Now, these birds are going to be fishing out in those deeper oceans, but that does not mean that they are at risk for plastic pollution. Sometimes pieces of plastic are mistaken for pieces of fish, and they will actually ingest those instead of the fish. Now, they are able to ingest it, but it will stay in their system instead of being digested and passed through their body. If you want to learn a little bit more about plastic pollution, there is our Ocean Travelers exhibit right around the corner from the Seabirds exhibit. It's very fascinating, really creative. Go and check that out. And if you have any questions, I'm going to go off mic. Once again, my name is Alexa. I'm going to hang out on the far left-hand side of the exhibit. It looks like this feeding might be going for a little bit longer. If you have any questions, please feel free to come up and ask me. I will do my best to answer any of those questions, and have an amazing day here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium.
Thank you, Alexa. They all done?
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, I got that. Look.
That's funny. That is funny.
I got this video. Look.
Take me home.
Attention. I get attention.
That is hysterical.
I got the video of it.
Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me.
That is, oh yeah, that is hysterical.
A bird dove from right there to down there. I kind of missed it. Is that right? The bird dove from right there from down there?
Yeah, up on top there.
I got it. I told the camera what that O. That's what the O was. Oh, people scream. When should I stop recording?
You can now. Let's go somewhere else now.
Sorry. We don't need to see anymore. What?
No, we've been here over a half hour.
Sorry, hang on.
That is hysterical. Everybody's doing it.
I got the video.
Did you catch the guy diving?
No, I missed it. I missed it.
I know. I took pictures. I'm like, okay, he's gonna dive. I know he's ready to go.
I'm sorry. You missed him too?
Yeah, I missed him too.
You missed him?
No, I saw him dive off. I actually didn't see him jump, but I saw him hit the water.
Oh. Looks like they're gone. Oh wait, is she? I think she's done feeding there. Is she?
What are the fish in there for? They eat the leftovers. They're like a vacuum for the ocean. You have another question?
I think, is she done?
I don't know if I guess
Okay, one.